Good evening, guys. Thanks for joining in and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, in this video, especially, we're going to focus on what are properties in ReactJS and also what is meant by state in ReactJS. Also, we're going to have a look around what is the differences between the React props versus state. Okay, so we're going to understand these differences with the help of a simple React application. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so in order to create a React application, so first thing you need to do is you need to install the Node.js latest version. Okay, so as I have already installed the Node.js latest version, so in this YouTube channel we have already a video of how to set up the React environment. So you can check that out. So after installing the Node.js, you have to simply check the Node version. Okay, Node I think -v. Yes, currently the Node.js is working. Right. So in order to create a React application, the Node.js offers us a npm package, that is a Node package executioner. Okay. So with the help of this npx, that is Node package executioner, we are going to create React application, and the utility name is create React app. So create React hyphen app followed by the React application name. So remember guys, so whenever you're creating a React application, make sure that the React application name of the project name that we want to create must be a lowercase. Do not use uppercase. Okay. So here I'm explaining about the props. That's why I'm saying props demo. Okay. So it takes a little bit of time while creating React application. Meanwhile, let's see and understand what is meant by props in React.js. Okay. So let us see. What are React props? So React props are nothing but they are the data that you want to pass inside the components. Okay. So here it's like a object properties. If you are coming from JavaScript background, you know what is meant by object, right? Every object will have properties inside them. Okay, they are key value pairs in the objects. But here the properties are nothing but the props are nothing but the properties. That means the data inside the components. Okay. The term props is the abbreviation for properties which refers to properties of an object. Here we use props to pass the data between different components. React is made up of different components. The entire React application is made of different components. So if you want to create a communication between different components, you have to use the props. Okay. React components are props to communicate within each other. Every parent component can pass some information to its child component by giving them props. Okay, so here React follows a unidirectional data flow. That means data passes from parent to child. If here the props are being used to pass the data from parent to child component. Okay. If you look at the diagram over here, we are passing the data from the parent component to the child component. Okay, that is a unidirectional data flow. Okay, so let's see whether the React application is created. Yes, it is created. Okay, once you create a React application, if it is saying happy hacking, okay, npm start the scripts, then your React application is successfully created. So let's navigate to our project demo. So props demo. Okay, so the script is the npm start to start the development server. Let's start it. So our React application is successfully created. Okay, now it's time to delete some unnecessary files and focus on the props. Okay, so let's open our project in the VS Code. This is the one. Let's open it. Click on the files and let me zoom it. Here inside the source, I'm deleting the unnecessary files. That is setup, logo, index. I don't need them. Okay, app.js. Okay, so delete the unnecessary files. Okay, go to the app.js. Here also we need to remove some unnecessary code. I don't need them. Okay, here also I'm removing the data. Okay, simply I'm writing a h1 that's gonna say understanding about the props. Simple. If you go to the browser, currently it is saying module not found. Okay, if you're facing this kind of errors, the simple thing is here we have removed the some unnecessary files. So those files may be being used in other files. You have to check the links and remove them. Okay, So let's go to the VS Code. Okay, so in the index.js, we have to remove this report web vitals. That's it. That is a causing error. Okay, remove it. Save this and go to the browser. So you got the output, right? Understanding about the prompts. That's good. Okay. Now let's create some basic components, one parent component and one child component. After that, try to pass the data between them. Okay. So let's go to the VS Code. So inside the source, I am creating a folder called components. Okay. So here in this components folder, I'm going to create two new files. That is, one is parent component.js and the second component is a child component, childcom.js. So guys, remember that whenever you're creating a components in React.js application, make sure that the component name starts every time with uppercase. Okay, right. So go to the parent component and I'm typing RAFCE. This is an extension, guys. This is a ES7 extension, which helps to write the boilerplate code. Okay, so it gives the entire boilerplate code for creating a functional component. See, I can type this manually. It is nothing but a simple arrowhead function. It is returning some JSX. That's it. If you want to create this kind of shortcuts, simply go to the extensions, ES7 type in. I think, yeah, so this is the extension you need to install. Okay, with the help of this extension only, I'm able to create this code in a matter of seconds. Okay, otherwise, I need to type in each and every line over here. So the code is nothing but we are importing React from React. Okay, a simple arrowhead function that is returning some JSX, that is some HTML code. Okay, here I'm writing simply instead of a div, I'm simply taking some empty fragments. Okay, it can also find. So here I'm writing a one h1 tag that's gonna say parent component. Okay, that's it. Now let's see. So I want to render this parent component. I want to render this parent component in this output, that is localhost 3000 in our application server. Okay, for this we need to send this parent component from here inside the root component, that is container, that is the app.js. Okay, simply we need to import that parent component, import parent component. Okay, so here if you look at that, it is a path from where this file is coming. Here dot slash means we are in the same directory. In the same directory we have a components folder. Inside we have a file called parent.com. Okay, right. So now let's include that component over here, parent.com slash self closing parent.com. Okay, right. So from parent component we need to send some data. Okay, so inside the child component simply create a functional component over here and remove the divs, empty tag, and I'm gonna say a simple h1 tag. That's gonna instead of h1, let's see one h2 tag. Okay, so this is a child component. That's it. Okay, this is a child component. Now I want to render this child component below this parent component. Okay, simply you have to go to app.js and here similarly you can also import child component like this and include the child component over here. Okay, so this is a parent component and this is a child component. Now this parent and child, they are currently they are two different components. Now I want to create some communication between them. So in order to create some communication, this parent component should render this child component. Okay, so in order to do that, simply remove the child component over here. We don't want to render over that over here. Inside the parent component I want to render the child component. So import the child component, insert the parent component, import child component, and try to render that over here. Child component. But you're not going to see any kind of difference in the output. Okay, so now now we're going to use the props. Okay, that is the properties. So we are going to send some data from parent component to child component. Okay, so data would be inside the child component. I'm going to say h3, a simple h3 tag. i am I'm simply writing a name, working as some professionalism from job role, coming from some city. Okay, coming from city. Now I want to replace this static values some dynamic values. Okay, now inside the parent component, I need to create a prop. Okay, so I want to like replace this static values with props. We have a name, job role, or simply I can say job. Okay, coming from city, the city, job, and name. So we can create three properties. Okay. So now I want to replace these static values with some dynamic values with the help of props. Okay, right. So now I need to send some properties from parent component to child component. Okay, so go to the parent component. Here we are rendering the child component. Okay, so the first prop I am going to send is the name. So name equal to Son. Okay, so inside the child component, we need to receive the values coming from the parent component. So in order to receive the values, you have to use the props in the parentheses. And we need, in order to generate those values in the output, we have to use the JavaScript expressions. Okay, so remove this, and here simply write props dot name. Save it and go to the browser. See, I am Sonu. Okay, so this is one property we are able to send some parent component to child component. Similarly, we can send multiple props. Okay, so currently we have a job and city. So create two new properties and send them from parent to child. So inside the parent component, let's create two new components, that is job equal to, so Python developer. I'm simply writing it. Okay, so after that we have a city. So city equal to some Mumbai. Okay, Mumbai. So let's try to render those two components inside the child component. Remove the job with the help of props dot job, and remove the city, replace with the dynamic, that is props dot city. Save this one and go to the browser. See, I am Sonu, working as Python developer, coming from Mumbai. Okay, see, that is how we can send properties from parent component to child component. Okay, see, again I'm explaining. So props are nothing but they are used to communicate or pass on data between different components. Here I have taken parent component and a child component. Okay, so I'm rendering the parent component inside the app.js, and I'm rendering the child component inside the parent component. Okay, so in the parent component, so I have created three props with some values inside there. Okay, so I'm sending these properties to the child component. Inside the child component, I'm receiving these props. Okay, I'm receiving those props and rendering them. Okay, so if you want to render the properties, you have to say props dot the property name, props dot the property name, like this. Okay. So with the help of JavaScript ES6 advanced features, we can use advanced features like you can use property destructuring. Okay, which makes our code look more clean and manageable. Simply nothing but instead of saying props and props every time, simply we can destructure it like this. Like we have properties, job, name, and the city, like this. Okay, so you don't have to say props again and again. Simply you can directly use the properties names. This is known as property destructuring, one of the advanced concepts of JavaScript. Okay, now save it, so there is no change in the output. Okay, so that is how you can pass the properties from parent component to child component. Okay, so another advantage of building a application with React is we can reuse the component, right? We can reuse this code. Okay, simply I can take another component, okay, or another component, I can change the data over there. For example, I'm creating a new file, that is child 2 com or grandchild. Okay, grandchild I can take. Okay, or simply instead of creating a new component, what I'm going to do, simply I can reuse the component. See, copy and paste. Okay, simply change the values. Instead of Sonu, I'm going to say Priya. Instead of Python developer, I'm the DevOps engineer. I can say, and instead of Mumbai, I'm gonna say Delhi. Okay, save it. Save. Let's try to remove. This is a child component because output is getting large. Let's remove it and format the code. Save it. Go to the browser. Okay, so that's how we can reuse the component and change the values. Okay, so right. Okay guys, that's it for this video. In this video especially we have learned what is meant by properties in React.js, how to create properties and how to pass the properties from parent component to child component and how to reuse them, and also we have seen the property destructuring. Okay, this one. Okay, right. So if you like this video, hit like and comment something for the next video. And so in the upcoming video I'm going to explain what is meant by state and with the help of simple a mini project kind of application. Okay, so thanks for joining in and hit like, share, comment. Okay, so see you guys in the next video.